about the commission.
Dakis Joannou is a mega super art collector, and he has this project that's called the DESTE Fashion Collection, where basically what he's been doing for the last 6 years is inviting artists from different disciplines to choose 5 pieces of fashion or something resembling fashion, and then incorporating this in a piece of art. So far it's been photographer, a painter, a poet, and it's the first time that he collaborated with a filmmaker. So, I really wanted to find stuff that was not haute couture per se. I wasn't interested in making a fashion film. So, together with my assistants and researchers, we looked online to find people, fashion designers, who were working with the idea of clothes as sculpture. And that's how we kept going from the one to the other. And there was one very important discovery, which was Ying Gao. She's a Chinese-Canadian designer who's based in Montreal, and she works with with sensors and with interactive smart clothes. So she donated to the collection this dress that reacts to light. It has sensors, and every time there is a light beam that's falling on its beautiful kind of orchid-like shape, it starts moving. So then a combination of these clothes, Sandra Backlund, she donated this amazing coat that's made out of human hair that Ariane was wearing. Anyway, it was fun. It was really like visiting a completely different universe that I had nothing to do with. And then figuring out what to do with this. It's almost like someone giving you 5 words and asking you to write a story. So this was my, limited dictionary that then I had to transform and invest into a story. And then somehow, completely intuitively, I connected these 5 pieces with Alexandra Walishevska's work. She's a tremendous Polish painter. And so I visited her in Warsaw, and we discussed the film, and we discussed which of her paintings perhaps we could use in order to create a story. And then, somehow naturally, step by step, without actually knowing what we're going to do in the end, the island of Hydra came into play. The idea of a bunch of women entrapped somewhere and actually not really being able to live or stay alive or die. Then those girls, those amazing talented actresses came on board, and somehow, it was like almost like a game. And we shot it in 3 days, and it's a capsule. It's a capsule of something, of a bunch of different people who came together.
I like that you use the word trapped, because that's an element of the capsule, maybe the more negative connotation, but something can be trapped in a capsule, or as the case may be, egg, like the images of eggs, or maybe that like womb-like chair structure. And even the house. The house made me think of 18th century English novels where women would be trapped in these kind of castles.
Yeah.
Was that a motif that you were kind of playing with, or a theme?
I was interested in exploring that. I've never done anything like this, and I'm more and more interested in genre and working with genre. So I guess this is sort of like my attempt to like horror, fantasy, vampire, whatever. And also, I'm interested in the fact that this kind of literature didn't really exist in Greece. We never went through this like Victorian, although we were part of the Ottoman Empire back then, and we were hardly a nation, and we hardly had literature. But that island where the capsule was shot was a very important island for the independence of Greece, because lots of ship owners lived there, and they were the ones who led the revolution against the Ottomans. And there was actually a couple of women, very powerful women who were captains themselves, who led the revolution. So there was this idea of captured women who at the same time are very strong and eternal.
They're also often hiding when they're discovered and welcomed, or they're each individually welcomed, but they're initially hiding or contained within something.
The idea is that they're being born by the house itself. So they are born, their life cycle is 4 days, and then they dissolve the same way they became alive or apparent through that structure, and then they are replaced by similar doubles of them. At a certain point, she tells them that she's their origin. And to tell you the truth, I'm always interested in this idea, like in Attenberg and in the Slow Business of Going. The idea of this sort of like secret society of competition, envy, desire that exists amongst women, especially young women who are coming into their own. So it was interesting to create this capsule, this situation where there is no escape from, and everything is very ritualized. To reenact this, quite cruel relationship between women. Imagine what kind of envy and what kind of curiosity there was amongst these girls, who were like watching each other, trying to become the best, to attract the attention of their master. It's things like power and discipline is something that is interesting to me. And the birth of desire through that, and the tyranny of desire through that.